Hi everyone, welcome to Value. So today we're going to look at quarter 4 delivery numbers for Tesla, NIO, Li Auto, and Xpeng, and numbers are pretty good. I'd say if you're a shareholder you'd be pretty happy. So for Tesla, quarter 4 numbers came in at about 180,000 for the deliveries, and that's about a 60% increase on the prior year. And for the whole of 2020 they did about I guess you could say 500,000 cars, because in terms of deliveries it was 450 shy of 500,000, but in terms of production it was way over 500,000. So I think, it's fair to say 500,000 for this. And yeah, they delivered in such a way that it's got to make you really impressed with the company. And the fact that, there's some expectations that, hey, Tesla could do 1 million in deliveries in 2021. Hence why, the share price is trading at such a high, because we're kind of seeing this huge potential behind this company that, hey, it's trading at $705 with a $668 billion market valuation. But, to say that it could hit to $1 trillion is, it's a very, very possible scenario, and I wouldn't disregard it, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't disregard Tesla getting to $1 trillion in market valuation. It'd be really, really high in valuation, but I wouldn't disregard that as a possible scenario for this year. Like, the minute Tesla announces that, hey, everything's firing on all cylinders, firstly, their Model Y is going to do incredibly well, and if they sell a lot of those and hit huge delivery numbers for each quarter, it's going to drive huge momentum, particularly in the share price. And also a lot of it's going to be built in because of autonomous driving. Everyone's kind of thinking, hey, when is Tesla going to get into like the whole taxi network and start disrupting something like Uber? Like, because Uber has disrupted the taxi network itself, and now you have Tesla coming in and trying to disrupt Uber itself. So there's a lot of value in that kind of area, and Tesla potentially opens it up in such a way that it's worth these high tech valuations. Of course, you want to buy into Tesla because of the long term and not because of the short term, because short term you never know what really happens with the share price in the short term. It goes all over the place, but in the general direction, it's just trended upwards so nicely that if you were a buyer of Tesla shares anywhere through 2020, you would be a very happy shareholder right now. And in terms of NIO, they have been very, very impressive as well, delivering 7,000 cars for December alone. That's a 121% increase from the prior year. And for the quarter leading up to the end of the year, they did about 17,353 vehicles, and that's a 111% increase for the quarter 4. And then for the year, they did 43,728 vehicle deliveries, and that's a 112% increase, which is really, really impressive. Like, hence why like NIO's share price has done so well, because they've just picked themselves up from when they were basically running low on cash to raising a huge amount of capital in the recent, just literally recently they raised a good amount in the billions, and then prior to that they also raised in the billions. So yeah, you got to be really impressed that, hey, this company is delivering on their production numbers, and the cars are selling really well. So yeah, I guess in a way 75 billion is probably a little bit high in my view, because there's a lot to be done to really get to this valuation. But I guess it's kind of like following Tesla's valuation, that, hey, if you hit your target numbers, we're going to reward your share price. And so far they've hit their target numbers and they are incredibly good. So I'd say NIO also hits it right out of the park as well. Tesla basically got where everyone expected. Like, everyone was expecting that 500,000 kind of target, and they got there. NIO kind of, I guess, no one really had like these strong expectations, but they wanted some good increase in numbers. And I guess at 17,000, it is sort of within the guidance. I think they did give a guidance of like 17,000 vehicles. So it's within guidance with NIO. So hence why the share price isn't going to get punished. The big question is it going to continue its momentum upwards? We'll have to see over the coming days what happens with the NIO share price. At the current valuation, I think it values it in a very fair way. So I think, yeah, like there's still a lot of potential built in, and it's priced for success, and so far it has been quite successful. What really surprised me was actually Li Auto. Their production numbers were really incredible. Like for Q4, they did 14,464 vehicles. And if you compare against NIO with their 17,000, like Li Auto isn't that far behind, especially since they've only just started delivering the cars back in December of was it December the 9th in 2019? Oh, actually December the 4th to be precise. December the 4th, 2019. And for them, it was setting a new record for first models by new energy vehicle manufacturers. So yeah, their Li 1 was one of the quickest ramping vehicles up in terms of production, and in some of the quickest out the door as well. So yeah, I gotta give it to Li Auto. They have done it in such a way that you have to be really impressed with how well they've scaled their production numbers, and also how well the vehicles are selling as well. And that's just one type of vehicle model. So yeah, I'm looking at this and going, yeah, Li Auto really surprised me in terms of those production numbers. That in December itself, they produced 6,126. You would probably think this company had been producing for a while now, but no, they're not. And when we look at NIO at 7,000 and Li Auto at 6,126, that's only just over 800 in difference in terms of vehicle deliveries. And you gotta go, wow, Li Auto literally just started selling their vehicles just over 12 months ago, and already they are making such an impressive gain in terms of those production numbers on NIO, whereas Li Auto trades at a 25 billion valuation, and while NIO trades at 75, which is basically 3 times the value that Li Auto trades at. So you gotta kind of you gotta look at it and go, there's some ground to be made for Li Auto, particularly with how impressive they've been in terms of their production numbers. And in terms of Xpeng, I am a big fan of Xpeng. Their vehicle deliveries of 5,700, not as high as Li Auto, not as high as NIO, but still some really impressive numbers. And especially if we look at it and go, it's 326% increase on the prior year. And for the quarter, they did 12,964. Again, not as high as Li Auto, but very impressive itself. And for the year, Xpeng delivered 27,000 vehicles. So you got to be impressed that, hey, all these EV companies are delivering on all cylinders, and yeah, like the share price is being rewarded. So again with Xpeng, their valuation is 30 billion, which is slightly higher than Li Auto's 25 billion. So I'd say, these two are relatively on par. Like, I think Li Auto's just shown some really good momentum in terms of their production. They've just really scaled so well. But I think at the end of the day, I do like Xpeng in terms of its technology. That it's just showing itself to be the more advanced one out of Li Auto and Xpeng. Even though Li Auto is producing more vehicles and having more sales, Xpeng's unique in the way that it's approached the market, that it's already expanded to Norway. And with its recent P7 car model, which just started selling 6 months ago, then yeah, like you got to say 2021 is looking like a big year for all these companies. Firstly, Xpeng has their P7, which is just really starting to ramp up these days and starting to sell more and more as they go. And in Li Auto, they've got they recently inked the agreement with Nvidia to buy their chips for autonomous driving. And they've got like a new model coming up in 2022, but I mean that's still a bit kind of like still a little far away to be looking at. Like I think what we look at this year is going to be the focus, since there's still a good at least 12 months to go before we do other considerations in terms of releases by this company. And NIO is officially launching their sedan, which is going to be very exciting itself. So I think, there's going to be more momentum built into the company. Their production numbers are going to increase as well, along with their deliveries. And yeah, I think Li Auto, Xpeng, NIO, they have shown great momentum. They only currently sell in China, except Xpeng that has started to deliver in Norway. And Tesla is basically in a game of its own, where these production numbers are just so massive that there's not really any EV competitor remotely close to where they are. Like the one company that I can think of is BYD, but they're not US listed, and I don't think they can really compete side by side anyway. So I think, in terms of like a competitor that is a direct competitor with Tesla, there's not really one. So I think really Tesla just continues to run unopposed in this current situation. Especially when we look at, hey, Tesla just recently dropped their car prices in China by about 30%, which is incredible. Tesla just has so much room to drop their prices if they wanted to be competitive with anyone. Like Lucid Motors came out with their car, and then immediately Tesla just dropped their pricing to compete with them. And all of a sudden, like there really is no competition with Tesla. The minute you try to compete with Tesla, they will drop their price. They will give their customers extra bonuses, they will find a way, because they've been at this game long enough, their margins are good enough, and they aren't afraid of not making a profit if it means beating their competitor, basically. So like it's a tough one. I think this year is going to be extremely competitive on the EV scene, but I think at the end of the day, like they're all trying to increase the size of their pie, and basically you're looking at a situation that, hey, it's going to be competitive, but that size of the pie is actually increasing year after year. So even though they're fighting over it, they are still going to continue to sell more cars for every one of these companies, which kind of is a nice kind of area to be in, that hey, it's competitive, but at the same time there's enough going around for everyone that it's actually not a big worry. So I think any of these companies, I feel good for all these shareholders. I feel good for everyone that has their shares right now, because these companies are just showing such momentum that I wouldn't have a problem just buying into all of them. I do own some Tesla, I do own some Xpeng. I don't own NIO because I feel like their pricing is too high. So I had it in the past, but right now I feel like they're so highly valued at the moment that there's too much success built in, that I think I'm better off holding other companies like Tesla, because Tesla's just leading the way so much. And I think Li Auto kind of makes me want to buy shares in Li Auto, because I'm looking at those production numbers and they are incredible. I didn't expect them to be that incredible. I thought Xpeng might actually have higher production numbers. So like Li Auto has surprised me in a good way, and when a company surprises you in a good way, that's when you potentially want to buy into the company, because they might continue those surprises. And yeah, I think if this, as Li Auto can do that, I wouldn't mind buying into these shares as well. I think 2021 is so far building off to a really great start, particularly with these Q4 delivery numbers. Yeah, so let me know what your thoughts are, and yeah, until then, good luck investing, everyone.